just picked up Carl, yeah, and we were just having a little discussion. Some people want the privacy, they don't want to go on camera. So in certain cases, like I've done previously, I'll provide an alias and I'll flip the camera so we do audio. And yeah, so Carl was just telling me some words of wisdom, and I mean, do you want to elaborate on what you were saying? I think for me to summarize what he's just said before it recorded, I was asking him to go on camera, and he's just basically saying that we all have to be a little bit cautious sometimes, because people will be positive towards you, but secretly they kind of, which is sad, with some people, they want you to fail. And you've got to be careful what you say, because you can be attacked for it, verbally or even literally sometimes. Even though we're not talking on certain topics, I think what Carl was saying, just for his own social, obviously, endeavours of what he's doing and his job role, he doesn't want to reveal his identity, which is fine. Do you want to kind of elaborate on what I was saying?
I wouldn't say even people not wanting for you to do well. It's the fact that they don't want you to do better than they are.
Key point. I'm glad you
it's the fact that I want you to do well, but I don't want you to do better than I am, or I don't want you to do more than I have achieved. So, and then that's where the envious comes in, and unfortunately that overtakes a lot of the society. And what you've seen these days is, before, when I was growing up, a lot of people used to voice their opinions, and people used to have a really wide sort of viewpoints, disagreements, and it was all part of the debate, whichever that debate was, in any sections. But now, people, I don't know if it's the last 2 generations or whatever, but what's happened is people get really frightened or maybe triggered as soon as you sort of debate with them, because they haven't been taught the art of debating or standing on your ground, or trying to accept other viewpoints if you think that viewpoint has a point, and that they've been persuasive within the debate. So they don't want to sort of give ground. They don't want to learn. They don't want to go out there and educate themselves, even though now with the technology that we have, it's really easy to educate yourself. But also the flip side of that is there's a lot of information that's wrong out there. So you've got to try and be mindful of where you're getting the research and who's providing the information that you're seeking to. So it does take more time, but the information is far easier to access now than it was before, I believe. But yeah, it's and the cancel culture on top of that as well. So if somebody disagrees with you, they tend to try and say, oh, okay, we don't like their views, so we don't want to hear what they've got to say, or you don't want to hear, and then to try and influence other people not to hear what you've got to say, and almost like speak for you and say, oh, this is what they meant, or this is what they've said, paraphrasing it or whatever, and therefore influence other people of what they think about you. So this is what I think has changed in the last 15, 20 years probably, and that's got to do with the society as a whole, whether it's the media, whether it's the establishment, politics, and this is now seeped into everyday life in terms of work. So if you're a civil service, if you're in a private sector, whatever you are, it's a lot more cautious in what you say, what you do, what you discuss in any sort of setting. So it's a lot harder these days. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to sort of go out there really anymore, because people will find something negative, whatever you say, even however positive that you might be.
So true. Yeah, no, it's so true, and you hit on a lot there. Like the 2 key things that stood out is, like, for example, the way you said, because I heard someone else say it a few months ago about people want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. That's interesting, because he said it a few months ago, and I never really looked at things like that. If you noticed that just in regard your work life, personal life, or just in
life
society?
as in my friends, as in work.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think your sort of, let's say your best friends, for example, you'd expect your best friends to be totally in, so there'll always be, but even within your friends, and I think this takes a long time to sort of accept this, and that's as if you've observed it long enough and you've experienced long enough, which I have. You'll always pick up on these kind of things. Your friends will only be happy at certain point, whatever you do, but there's a ceiling. If you go beyond that ceiling, then their happiness turns into almost dislike, or this person is too big for their boots, or this person is doing too much, or this person is this, and we don't communicate with him because now he's done well or whatever. They'll find the negativities of whatever you're doing, and and then highlight that, rather than, oh, he's doing really well, he's got let's say he's done his job, or he's got a lot of projects going, or he's helped a lot of people, or he's done this and this. They don't focus on the positives. They'll try and focus on the negatives and say, oh, he doesn't give us time anymore, maybe, or we don't get to see him, or he's done this, and he's all these kinds of things. They won't see that maybe you're busy, maybe you're doing this and this, but this will only last only a short while. But they won't see that. They'll only see them from their point of view, which is, again, as I said, it's a ceiling that they give you. This ceiling is given you by them rather than your own ceiling.
No, totally. And do you think that's an element of insecurity?
It is. And again, this could be, the media does this. So the media will frame things as whichever news item it is, it'll frame, and then or part of the society they'll frame, let's say Muslims, they'll frame them and they'll say, okay, generally Muslims are terrorists, let's put it this. So if a Muslim person does something, they'll make sure that it's highlighted that they're Muslims. But if a Christian person does that, or a Jewish person, or agnostic person does that, then their religion doesn't matter within the news story. It's not highlighted, it's not said within the news story. It's not part of the news story. So again, the framing of it is very important. So the media does that a lot. They frame certain parts of societies, people, to a narrative that they think those people belong to. And the same thing goes into work and life and all these kinds of things. So we, our friends, frame us within a certain limit, certain area. And if we go beyond that, and if we expand, and if we become bigger and better, and we evolve as personal life, job, whatever, then all these things change. And then again, that's where people will find maybe negatives, or usually they do find negatives.
Yeah. No, you explained it, Carl, perfectly, and it's good once again to get perspectives, and that's a big emphasis of what this podcast is about, is especially to do with cancel culture, and I think identity politics, and dividing people and splitting them up. Like, I'm big into quantum physics, non-academic, but I think it's important, whatever subject matter, to communicate complex topics and make it easier for the general public. So even though I'm not the expert on a certain subject, I want to eventually get guests on who we can exchange these perspectives, and ultimately I think unity is the key, and being open-minded, respectful to people's belief systems, cultures. Even if you totally disagree with a position, I think the best way to challenge a bad idea is open debate, discourse, and the art of conversation.
The art of conversation, and not taking things personally.
Exactly.
The problem nowadays is, and again, maybe it's the last two generations, people take things far too personal. So you'll have a discussion, you'll have a debate, and people take it far too personal. When I was growing up, it was encouraged for you to put your point across, but it was never personal, and you were taught not to take things personal. So, but nowadays, if you take discussion, people take it personal, and then it escalates from there on. And then people have got a grudge on you, and you're thinking, well, no, we were it's okay to disagree, but we were debating, and we were having a discussion. Now, if you convince me, then it's fantastic. I agree with you. But if I disagree with you, maybe because I have a different point of view, that's fine. But there's no need to make it a personal animosity, or there's no need to like me or anything like that. Nothing should change.
I think 2 words explains that: emotional intelligence. I think we definitely need more of it, because I have some people who need to off at the mouth if you mention certain names or bring up certain subjects, and I just think it's good. I think this has been a great conversation, would have been great on video, but I understand your privacy, totally get it. But it was a short trip, and it was powerful and educational, and as the channel grows, I like to do more of this for the everyday person.
It's fantastic. It's brilliant to do this. Liverpool is probably one of the best cities to do this kind of things. That's why I love about Liverpool, because you can have any discussion, any debate, any exchanges with any member of the public, and they know more than any other people that you'll ever come across in any other city in the UK. So it's the best city to do this kind of discussion.
No,
I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
No, me too. Any last words before I pull over and let you know?
Stay humble, everyone, and stay positive, and never take things personal.
That's it. Great finish to the podcast. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you so much.